zum letzten Kampf des heutigen Abends. Es ist das Finale des 25.000 Euro Clash Tournaments. Coming into the blue corner, representing Albania, Shemsi Beqiri.
Well, this is the final. The mixed fight clash event all year has culminated to this. We've seen some good fighters go, but this is the final I think everyone wanted to see. This man, Shemsi Beqiri. There's the fight numbers up on screen, and the man that we all wanted these two to face off, Faldir Chahbari. So, what a spectacular win in the semis. That knee strike. He says he's not on top form, Chahbari, but if you ask me, he's doing a proper Laurence Olivier, hiding it. Not letting it on, we like that. So, he's got some slick moves, Chahbari, but then so has Beqiri. There's the numbers, we've seen them before, but you can reacquaint yourself. And I think this is what's going to tell here, Grant. We said that the last time. 31 years, plays 24.
Experience is a huge factor, but they've both got to the final now. It's fantastic to see. At only 24, Beqiri has got 13 world and European titles. Simply amazing.
Yeah, he comes to this with a very, very good pedigree.
Fighting out of the team Super Pro in the Netherlands, Shemsi Beqiri.
So, Beqiri wants this.
In the red corner is 31 years
the culmination
old,
of a year's work.
His
But
official
Chahbari.
weight is 72.5 kilograms. His professional fight record, 103 fights, 88 wins, 11 losses and 4 draws. Fighting out of the team beast of the East from the Netherlands, Faldir Chahbari.
Well, as we were discussing, the end of his last bout, Chahbari has only got one functional eye. He fights southpaw. He's 31 years of age. Justin, either he's going to be hugely motivated here tonight or hugely hindered. One or the other.
Well, I think he's doing okay for himself. With 26 knockouts at the age of 31, it's not bad going.
Yeah, out of the amount of fights that he's had as well. He's certainly been around the European bloc, and we like a bit of showbiz and showtime drama, coming in the Moroccan national dress like that with the fez. He's called Fast Faldir. Let's see if, against Shemsi Beqiri, he's been keeping a little bit of reserve in the tank. So fighting southpaw in the red gloves, Faldir Chahbari. In the blue, from Albania, Shemsi Beqiri.
Do we know which eye he can actually see out of? Because it's a huge disadvantage if somebody's throwing a close-in hook to that side. I mean, I can remember when I was amateur boxing, just wearing a headguard was a hindrance.
Well, he's a foxy character, is Faldir Chahbari. So whatever we believe the non-functional eye to be, it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't that at all. Because what you'd want to do is disseminate the information to fool your opponent. So for years, probably people think it's his right eye, but it might be his left. That said, you know, who can tell? And I think it's his left. You can see it's glazed.
But he compensates rather well.
Well, there you go.
Chahbari's coming forward. At the end of a tournament like this, in the final, the guy who's had the easiest route to the final has obviously going to have a huge advantage. The guy who's taken the most punishment is carrying injuries. If he's taken a lot of low kicks, isn't going to be able to step off that lead leg as well as his opponent. There's a lot of factors to take into account, and the extra experience that Chahbari's got under his belt could be a telling factor.
Well, you know, Shemsi Beqiri at 24 years of age just comes at this like, you know, a bat out of hell. Goes off like a sawn-off. just the energy that he brings is amazing. But you're right, you know, Faldir just had an easy ride. I mean, he hitchhiked his way, really. That knee strike sorted out a lot of chaff from the wheat because it was a first round win. So Chahbari, early shower as far as that element was concerned. But this is going to be one of those grinding, physical chess matches. I don't think we're going to see a stoppage here. What I think we're going to see is tactics, grinding tactics, and you know, both of them are masters of that. Look at the rangy position of Chahbari. Moves laterally, great. When he goes down to a deep stance, great movement in and out. I mean, he covers distance really well.
You're right, Will. The technique is fantastic, and something I do find the European audiences appreciate, perhaps more than the British audience, is the skill involved in fights. They're both MMA and kickboxing.
Yeah, you know, you watch it on a small screen, but these guys are athletes at the highest level. Well, just a quick reminder, over the festive period, we'll be having lots of fight entertainment coming your way. K1 Max Final and the K1 Final. And look at your listings, TV listings, or go online to www.eurosport.co.uk, and you can find out all that's happening with me and Fight Club over the Yuletide. And lots of great events going on over Europe, not least of which one that you and I will be attending there, Grant. We're going off to Slovenia for the WFC 12.
WFC 12, Will, and it's only -12 over there, so it's not too cold.
Well, I'll be looking forward to the draw of
Seconds out.
Austrian fighter Nandor Guilmino. What a victory he had back in Portoroz in the summer against Ben Smith.
Ben Smith, the UC MMA Grand Prix and heavyweight champion. Yeah, he demolished him, really. It was a superb win for Guilmino.
It was a total discombobulation from the Austrian fighter.
I won't I won't ask you what that means.
But he's a lovely guy as well. So folks, go online. You can watch that. Some pay-per-view going on there, but you can watch that live. WFC from Ljubljana in Slovenia. And that's an event well worth watching, amongst the myriad of other great sporting events over the holiday period. Well, back to the action here. Second round, 3-rounder. 72 keys is the weight category. It's the final of the Clash event. Stuttgart, Germany, playing host to this. Shemsi Beqiri taking on fast Faldir Chahbari. Chahbari in the red gloves, Beqiri in the blue. Hanging on to Chahbari there.
Beqiri's he's tried several spinning kicks. He's fallen over. He's just fallen over again. He's being stalked by Chahbari. Chahbari's got the greater range. It looks like one-way traffic up to now.
Well, it's interesting because the frustration beginning to show on Beqiri. He can't find a way in. I have to say that Chahbari's got a flipping guard as tight as 2 coats of paint. I mean, you know, you've got more chances of getting into Fort Knox than past Chahbari. He's really saved the best till last, hasn't he?
Yeah. The experience has shown he's throwing more power now, and his work rate is higher than it was in the earlier fights. So getting to the final, which is obviously the all-important thing, and he's done it in a clever way.
Well, Beqiri between a dog and a lamppost here, because what he needs to do is power out Chahbari, but he can't lock onto the target. Chahbari using those evasive skills, you know, to huge efficiency.
And Beqiri seems wary of committing in this fight, which you wouldn't have thought he would have been.
Well, Chahbari well organised. He's come to this with a strategy. 30 seconds left in this second round, and whilst Beqiri is still very much in this, this is joined up fighting from Faldir Chahbari.
And Chahbari, when Chahbari moves out of the way of punches and kicks. He doesn't waste any energy. It's just a slight head movement, a slight leg movement. He just moves enough just to clear the punch, and then he's back in there again.
And that low kick, just with the hip in afterwards, just to give it that whip. Pure technique.
Well, the end of the second round, Will. I'll give that 2 rounds to Chahbari. Beqiri's got it all to do in the final round.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an advantage that Chahbari's got. Maybe one apiece, but I wouldn't argue with you. I think at this stage it's probably academic. I think you're right. Beqiri has all the work to do, and we know he hasn't got a stoppage there, and you know, etc, etc, etc. Chahbari doesn't cut, he doesn't tire, he's got the technique. This is the 3rd round in the final. He's smelt gold. You know, the corner's probably on the phone to the house in the Netherlands saying clear a space on the mantelpiece.
And you know, it's been a long night. We haven't seen a knockout yet. It's the final round of the final fight. Let's see if they're going to come out and give the crowd something they really want to see. Chahbari's ready, raring to go.
And this is what we love, a kiss to your opponent. The honour and respect that these warriors display. And I've said this before on Fight Club, but wouldn't you like to see a modicum of that respect and dignity from other sportsmen in other sports? And yet you have a physical contact sport like kickboxing, you know, which is not to everyone's taste, but you can't knock the honour and respect that comes from the Budo ethic. And what a wonderful thing to do, to go and kiss your opponent.
There's so many benefits to combat sports, Will. You know, there's lots of kids out there on the streets. There's a saying, you know, hands up, guns down. Hands up, put your knives down. Get in the gym, learn some respect. There's role models. There's things to learn. You can occupy your mind, occupy your brain. The pluses far outweigh the negatives.
Well, I know you're very involved with different charity groups and different youth movements, Grant. You spend a lot of time, you know, trying to help young people, and that's very commendable. And you're right, you know, it is a good path to take, and we can see that the virtues being extolled here, absolutely, you know, honourable. Well, look at this now, starting to liven up as the clock winds down. Will we see a little bit of smash and grab? Liven up proceedings. That right hand of Chahbari's banging into the target there. Beqiri's really had his work cut out for him tonight.
Well, it did seem to be tit for tat in that first round, but since then we've seen Chahbari's really come into it, and he seems controlled with that height advantage as well. He seems in control of this game. Beqiri's still chipping away though.
I think it's traditional in a lot of Thai fights that they come out. The first round is always a feeling out round. And you know, we'd all love everyone to come out like Melvin Manoff and go off like a shotgun right from the offset, but it's not always the way.
Well, I predicted that this fight would be a physical game of chess. Little cut opened up on the left cheek of Shemsi Beqiri. We're too far in the fight. Great evasive skills. Swerved the kick, came in with the right hand, but Chahbari's work rate is higher, and the face of Beqiri says it all. Looks at his corner as if to say, what have I got to do to have an impact on this guy? So nearing the end of the round, he's throwing caution to the wind. Nothing to lose. Will Beqiri catch a wave and drop in?
Big kick thrown there.
Oh, it was too big. Nostradamus predicted it.
You know, it's dangerous going the distance, Will, in any fight. If you really, really want to win, don't leave it to the judges.
Well, yeah, from your lips to their ears, and I'm sure it's not for the want of trying, but yeah, you're right. Well, I don't think this is close enough to call. I think the face of Beqiri says it all, and I think Faldir Chahbari, well, definitely making space on the mantelpiece tonight. Bit of bling to go home with. They might call it a draw. Who knows? stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened, Will, and of course in K1 rules, if it is a draw, we're going to see an extra round, and that's always value for money for the crowd.
Yeah, and you know, you had Chahbari way ahead on this, but I didn't see it that far. And no one's taking their gloves off. The corner are still checking fighters, so we never say never.
Maybe there is an extra round. Depends on what the judges are looking for. A lot of K1 is scored on aggression, damage done to your opponent, and who's coming forward trying to force the win. Some judges, if they're used to scoring Thai fights, they will go for techniques, and scoring techniques landed.
Well, the trophy's in the ring. If I'm honest with you, I think Chahbari did enough, but I think in a final against fighters of this category, maybe an extra round would seem the way to go.
Just leaves it without question.
So let's see what the official verdict is. Hear what the judges have got to say. Oh,
He's coming from the red corner.
well, Chahbari did it. It was the right decision. Where did we get the extra round from?
Chahbari did enough. 3 fights in one evening. You can take nothing away from him. An absolute warrior.
And look at the respect and honour for his opponent, Chahbari. So, the Clash title goes to Chahbari. As usual, we're going to track the champ down. He's fast, but not fast enough for our Sam.
You told me at the beginning, I have to win tonight, and you won.
Yes, I told you, but you can hear I was... Sorry. Before I start, yesterday I was a little bit sick. And only what I do is vitamin. And that's why I try, and I don't want to give too much power in one round, you know. And that's why I do technically. I give sometimes a hard punch, hard kick, and then it's slowly. It's very fast, but not with power. And it was working good. The whole tournament. And you know, you have injuries. After one fight, you have injuries. When somebody tell you, oh, I don't have injuries, bullshit. Because every time you have a little bit, you know. And the second fight, before I start the second fight, really, I feel me very, very bad. And I was thinking, he cannot win, because I come here to win. And it was a good fight, the second fight, and now the last fight. Shemsi Beqiri is the same like my brother, because I know him. And every time when we are on a tournament, we come together and we sit together and we talk about kickboxing. But yeah, it's very bad for him that I win. And when I lose, it's also he thinks the same like me, you know. And it's the same like a brother for me. But hey, I'm happy, you know.